So what's going on, guys? My name is Mr. Dalek JD. Thank you for joining me, where today we're talking about Black Ops 3 Zombies DLC 1. Now, there's been a few things which I thought I'd want to address to you guys and kind of speculate and theorize about this map, because we have an exciting kind of add-on to the original image. It's a much wider image now, and we also have a name change. Now, it's not a drastic name change, it's just been changed from Der EISENDRACHEN to Der EISENDRACHE. So the N has been taken out of the end, so it's no longer Der EISENDRACHEN. So we're going to have to slowly get used to that, because for me anyway at the moment it's still a bit weird, but no real reason why there's the name change yet from Treyarch, but I'm assuming it could be due to translation errors, because it does mean the Iron Dragon in German, but some people have been saying it translates to the Iron Kite, and there's just probably a few confusing things like that, which is why they've changed it. But every day for the past week, Call of Duty have been tweeting out images of the multiplayer maps with very brief descriptions, but they didn't give us any form of description for this one. They just said get ready for the new zombie map Der EISENDRACHE coming to Awakening, and I feel at some point very, very soon we are going to get maybe some more information about each map. I'm really hoping that we get a trailer for Christmas. That would be absolutely awesome, but as you can see, the image on screen is a much wider image of the one that we got on the original poster, and we can actually see a little bit further out into the distance on the right side. Now, in the original image that we got, we could see in the background this one singular rocket, but what is huge and a big surprise is that there's not actually one rocket, but there's actually a total of 3 rockets in this image. We see the original one that we saw in the first one. If you look over to the right, we can see another one, and then just creeping along next to the actual text for the zombie map, we see a third rocket. Now, next to the first rocket that we originally saw in the DLC poster, we can now actually see towards the right a better image of a launch site where a rocket seems to have already launched. So there's a total of 4 rockets that are present on the map, one that's already launched, so we're left with the remaining 3. In my last video, I theorized a bunch of things, because in real life the castle has a lot of history. Now, in fact, this castle never was a prison during World War II, but it was kind of a school for higher ranked Nazis, and I've had a lot of people tell me that they believe the rockets in the background are more like V2 rockets. Now, you could say that. It's very plausible that they could be using V2 rockets, but if you look in real life at what a V2 rocket looks like, and then you look at the sort of nose or the top of these rockets, they don't follow the same kind of weird pattern where in the rockets in Der EISENDRACHE it seems like they have this kind of point and where it's really skinny, and then it kind of curves back to form the rest of the rocket, while with a normal V2 rocket it's just straight all the way up and slowly gets thinner towards the point at the top. So these could very well be V2 rockets. You know, this is just Treyarch's take on things, so it doesn't always have to follow history, but I'm not too sure what exactly the rockets are. So in my last video talking about this map, I mentioned that there could be possible links with Ascension because we saw the rocket in the background, but we didn't know that there was actually 3 rockets in total in the background, one that's already launched. Now, if we look into Ascension, we can see that that rocket that we actually launched in Ascension is actually a Russian Soyuz rocket. Now, that's very kind of particular in design and doesn't look anywhere similar to the rockets that we have inside of this map, but we can link the fact that there's 3 rockets in this image to something else in Black Ops Zombies, and that of course is Moon. At the end of the Easter egg, we launched 3 rockets which then went and blew up the Earth. Now, they don't look quite similar to the rockets that we're seeing in the Der EISENDRACHE image, but Treyarch have thrown a ton of little references and Easter eggs to Moon, which a lot of people have been talking about a possible Moon remake. Even I have discussed it a few months ago on my channel, and this is stuff like the wave gun blueprint can be found in a multiplayer map on the wall, and even in the loading screen for the Giant, if you look very carefully behind it, you can actually see the very top of the wave gun blueprint. And even Dempsey in the Giant mentions that he's used the Pack-a-Punch in various areas like Brazil and on the Moon. Now, I could sit here and talk all day about different rocket types and argue about which one this is, but Treyarch can do whatever they like with the story, and it doesn't necessarily have to follow real life history. We know that Richtofen and the crew are jumping jumping through different dimensions, so the way that some events have turned out could turn out very, very similar, but there could be some slight differences, such as perhaps using different rockets. But this is all just a theory in my interpretation, but I feel like because Treyarch love to do stuff where, what Jason Blundell's told me anyway, that with the future DLC they're going to notice little plot holes in older maps and kind of string things together, a lot like how Shadows of Evil and Mob of the Dead are now linked. There was not really a link before with Mob of the Dead to anything, so that's where the links were made. But either way, whatever's going on at this castle seems to be some sort of rocket facility testing site, because there is a lot of emphasis on these rockets. The fact that Treyarch have added not one, but 4 different launch sites with 3 rockets there means that there definitely is some sort of huge operation going on involving testing rockets for some form of purpose. But let me know down below in the comment section what you think of the EISENDRACHE and what you think the storyline's going to be in it. I'd love to hear your thoughts, because you guys come up with such creative ideas, and I'm hoping that we get blessed with a trailer for this map pack at some point during this month. It would be crazy if we got it, and it would be awesome for Christmas as well. But this map pack is supposed to be coming out in January of 2016 at some point. I'm assuming it's going to be at the end of the month, just like most map packs in January, but I'll keep you guys up to date on this, so if you want to stay updated, make sure to subscribe. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like button, and I'll hopefully catch you guys in another video very, very soon. Take care.